This is Transformation and Regeneration by Jason F. McLennan. Humanity's Grand Design Assignment. Five big things to save life as we know it. Number 5, vote for love. The stark challenges facing our world are on full display. In addition to the bleak realities of climate change finally sinking in at a societal level, the devastating effects of systemic injustice in the forms of racism and gender and socio-economic disparity have never been more clearly apparent. 2020 has been the year of perfect vision in many regards. What does it mean to vote for love? When we vote, we must ask ourselves, who brings us closer to ideals of regeneration? Who takes us further from the path to justice? As we vote, we need to insist on and begin to shape policies that acknowledge universal rights. We need to insist on living wages fairly distributed and quality universal health care. We need to vote for leaders with visions of how we achieve racial parity and structure reconciliation with the many indigenous and communities of color who have been systematically held underwater in societies across the world. We need to make amends, with words certainly, but more importantly with action. We need political leaders who acknowledge climate change and boldly lead their constituencies, from municipalities to entire nations, toward immediate and active mitigation and remediation of its effects. At national and international scales, we need to vote into office those who hold a vision for how we collectively shape our democracy in a just and equitable way to move our societies forward and begin the restorative work of healing our planet. And we need leaders with deep, nuanced, and well-informed understandings of the intersectionality and interconnectivity of climate, environmental, and social justice failings. Voting for love means seeking out solutions that are comprehensively good, understanding that problems aren't solved in isolation. The COVID pandemic has given us such a perfect object lesson in the insidious and interconnected nature of injustice. The inequity inherent in our health system, in which many, particularly people of color, do not receive adequate medical care, is plain to see. In Illinois, where 14% of the population is Black, 40% of COVID deaths reported as of April were Black patients. Other states with similar demographic makeups have reported similar statistics. The reasons for this disparity are nuanced and interrelated, but include the overall comparatively poor health of the poor and Black communities, paired with a lack of access to quality health care, the lack of access to good jobs, the kind that allow one to work from home during a pandemic, and exposure to persistent environmental pollution and poor air quality, which is linked, of course, to lack of trees, often found in poor and Black and brown urban neighborhoods, the proximity to pollution-producing industry, be it chemical, agricultural, or extractive, in rural and semi-rural places. Solutions that attempt to address any single contributing factor to the exclusion of others will be ineffective. Ineffective solutions that attempt to fix one problem while compounding another will be unjust. Only leaders who refuse to compromise on holistically good solutions can lead us forward towards a living future. The inequity inherent in our judicial system, beginning with our police departments and working its way insidiously through all our governing bodies, local governments, the courts, the industrial prison complex, has reached a boiling point. As a result, the clarion call for justice has grown in volume exponentially in the past weeks. The persistence of climate deniers and science decriers in the public spotlight, too, has reached a tipping point. An insistence on a reckoning with the predicament we're in this earth has been called for, powerfully by youth who are suffering from anxiety and depression as a result of the enormity of the shit show we've landed ourselves in and are now demanding change. If nature has anything to teach us about how we live in a community, peacefully and prosperously on this earth, it is that by hurting each other and the host of living things, whether by brute physical means or by more invisible means like unjust laws, implicit bias, ignorance, and carelessness, we hurt ourselves. The time has come that we migrate to a new, collectively held understanding that what we do to others, we do to ourselves. That the zero-sum paradigm is false. That until we achieve equality, we will not achieve equanimity on this earth. Voting for leaders who understand this and will work tirelessly to bring about change is voting for love. Our very survival as a civilization requires that we apply ourselves on a global scale to all these changes. Humanity has its assignment. What if this became the rallying focus around the world? This divergence, this new mature emergence of humanity, should be called Homo Regenesis. We must evolve past being merely apes that think to those that heal and restore, those that deserve this wonderful planet. We need to recognize that so many indigenous peoples all over the world carry knowledge of how we achieve the vitality we aspire to on our earth and in our communities. We need to amplify their voices and learn from and follow them in the pursuit of a living future. What the world needs from humanity right now is for us to use our agency, our technologies, our knowledge, and our compassion for life to regenerate the earth. We are all agents of regeneration as soon as we choose to be. What happens to grief, anxiety, and depression, which so many of us are currently feeling in these disruptive times, when you reclaim your agency? It transmutes. Woeful energy takes on meaning when applied in action. I get that change is hard, that what is required is overwhelming, and the distance we must migrate is far, that we are often all so afraid. True bravery is facing those fears, not by burying them or denying them, but by acknowledging them and stepping into them, or diving into them as the case may be. When you let go of fear, your heart has an infinite capacity for love. And in the end, I truly believe that all that will sustain us in the decades ahead is, in fact, a sustained awakening of the human heart. This is the sign on the front door of my house, and I put it there to drill this sentence into my children's heads. So this is all what I would ask of you who are listening to this essay at this time. Accept the reality of where we are and let go. Step bravely into this moment and commit to becoming an agent of regeneration. And at the risk of sounding corny, it is with sincerity that I say that you are beautiful the way you are. You are enough. Get over yourself. Forgive yourself. And for the love of God, let go of the stuff that's been holding you back. For we need you right now. We need all of us to be agents of regeneration out there making change, as this is the last decade we have, perhaps, to make this right. Humanity has its next design assignment: regenerating the world.